What's up? Good evening, night, whatever it's 10:30. Good night. I am back. It's the same day, May 19th, 2025. And yeah, I'm done with my meetings. And then another random meeting that popped up. And then walking my dog. And then another random, I don't know. Ended up meeting one of my neighbors and we ended up talking for like 30, 40 minutes. Found out that she I think she said she lived in Southeast Asia for like 30 years or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I go to Singapore every year. She's like, oh yeah, I lived in Singapore for 7 years and I lived in Hong Kong and Shanghai. And I was impressed because I was like, it's very rare that I hear people pronounce Shanghai correctly. They say Shanghai when it's actually Shanghai. And she like, I could tell that she was using the tongue. She said Shanghai. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah, she lived in Australia, in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, and Dubai. She said she has some places out there. And she's really into cars, which is pretty dope. Like she's racist and apparently she has a dope ass collection of cars, including Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Mercedes and Porsches. So I was like, yeah. So ended up talking to her about ayahuasca and what that experience was like, and so we're gonna meet up later in the week, or maybe next week, depending on what I got going on. But maybe later in the week to talk about that, and we'll probably be doing some tea stuff too. I told her I wanted to try my tea that I've been developing, so she seemed very excited to do that. So. Yeah, that's what I've been up to in the interim since I've been gone. Basically just running my mouth. And I'm literally just now getting back. I ended the stream around 5 because I had a meeting at 5 and I had back-to-backs. It's like 5 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6 something, and then 6:30 to whenever that ended. I think it was like 8:30 or something. Went walk. And then obviously this is the last conversation. So I'm back. I'll be finishing what I had started earlier. We did finish that video in the stream earlier today, but I had a bunch of things to watch later. And this is something that I'm going to try to do. And I'm saying it on stream because maybe I'll actually follow through with it. Probably not. I'm not even going to lie. I don't care. This is one of the problems of not really caring about what people think about me. Cause it's just like, but I'm going to say it, and maybe I'll stick to it. I am planning to stream at least 5 times this week. And as a part of that, I need to make sure that I continue to, I actually remember to add videos that I want to watch with you all in my watch later. So I actually have something to talk about. I'll have some stuff in Discord too, but I haven't really been using that. It's been silent there. And I don't know. I don't really want to go and deal with silence right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and switch over to my screen and we'll get this YouTube stuff going. I think the last video we watched was the Warzone thing. Oh my gosh, I know this is delicious. I've never made this, but I've had it. Like these types of recipes, it's pretty easy to make. You just get some potatoes, and I have a mandolin. Get some, I would actually use duck butter or duck fat, not duck butter, duck fat, or maybe even clarified butter, something that is, you probably won't agree with, but I agree, high in saturated fat. Basically fats that are solid at room temperature, natural fats, obviously. Use that, oh my gosh, anyway, we're gonna go to the watch later. Yeah, this is the one we watched. I believe we watched this one already. Now we have a few. I added Black culture is ghetto culture. 20,000 Google employees just got fired. I don't really care about that. Let's look at some Black ghetto shit.
Sure, it's not something that.
All right, and because we're going to be watching this video, let's turn down our volume here and make sure I turn up the video a little bit more. All right, cool. So this is from a guy called Aquarius Wave. Let me go ahead and give him a like, and we will share his video in the live chat. There's no one here but me, but for myself, you know, I am my favorite person after all. I like me more than I like you. Maybe that's a hot take, but I don't give a shit. I'm being honest.
Some black folks are given over to. Instead, it has been.
How you doing, William? I'm doing great. No. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna get to my 8-figure goal. What have you been up to? No, nothing. Just chilling, reading some books, working on some music stuff, doing some video stuff, working on some tea stuff. Just I'm all over the place, hands in pots, getting that honey, you know. Winnie the Pooh. That's what I'm up to. Roscoe, I'm not going in there. You better stop that.
The culture. It is the mainstream culture. And I'm sick and tired of this lie that it is just some sort of subculture that some people are given over to, but most of us are sick and tired of. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Folks, if this was the case...
Wait. What did he just say is a lie? I'm curious. What's a lie?
The ghetto culture is no longer the quote-unquote subculture. It's not the alternative culture. It's not something that some black folks are given over to. Instead, it has become the culture. It is the mainstream culture. And I'm sick and tired.
I wonder when he says the culture, is he saying the culture of America? Or is he saying the culture of black Americans? Because if that's what he's saying, it's a lie. That's actually not a lie. That's actually the truth. But I wouldn't expect a Nigerian to know that. They are not black. So how the fuck would they know? It's kind of hard to really understand that from the outside looking in when you don't actually integrate with black Americans. And that is the case for most Nigerians. They don't integrate with us. So how would they know? And the ones they do integrate with are the ones who are part of that subculture. Because for whatever reason, I guess they seem as it's race is honestly it's racism in the same way that it is for white people, where in their mind they think that that's what black is, because that's what it's been exported to them. That's the culture that they've seen and heard through the music that gets sent there. Even though a lot of the music that gets played on the radio and sent out is A&Rs decide what music goes out. It's not really the artist per se. Every so often you will get a superstar who can have that kind of influence, but most of the time it is the music industry executives that determine and dictate what type of music makes it out into the masses. And for him to say that is the mainstream culture, I'm sorry, but dear Nigerian, my entire family is black and none of us subscribe to that. And I have a very large family. A very large family. And we not into that shit. And that's including family, friends. Now, obviously, there are some people who are into that shit, but the vast majority of us are not. Including this here black man, an actual black man, not a Nigerian.
Of this lie that it is just some sort of subculture that some people are given over to, but most of us are sick and tired of. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Folks, if this was the case, then why is it that if you are not in some way attached to ghetto culture, some way representing parts of the ghetto culture, you are seen as the outcast, you're seen as an outsider, you're seen as quote unquote white adjacent, or essentially being white, right? You're just all out called a white person. You act white.
No one in my life has ever accused me of acting white. Just let that sink in. Black boy who grew up in the hood, who went to all black schools with those types of people who he's talking about. Not once in any of their miserable lives did they call me white or that I talk white. it could be that I was a bigger person and I was an athlete, and like if they really want to fuck around, they could find out. I actually know how to fight. It's not one of these street fight things. I actually train. It's like actually, but I don't fight. Like I know how to de-escalate things. So it's very interesting how he has all this to say, but something tells me that he wouldn't know, because I have yet to meet not any Nigerian that truly integrates with black people. There are some, but that's only surface level. That's when they go out. There's never really anything beyond that. And I'm saying this as someone with some very close Nigerian friends, and it's kind of funny that some of them will confide and say that I am their only black friend. Just let that sink in. I'm their only black friend. So what does that mean?
Quite. If you don't have some semblance of the ghetto culture, it's not enough to be quote unquote black.
Oh yeah, he's never called me white. At least the one who lives here. Actually, none of them. Although I don't think the girls would call me any of that kind of stuff. I know more Nigerian girls than I know Nigerian guys, which is ironic. Really, I don't know how that's the case. Now that I think about it, I really don't know how that's the case. Why do I know more Nigerian girls than I know Nigerian guys? Well, in any case, let's see what else he has to say.
You have to have some ratchetness about you in order for you to be accepted by the mainstream. How do I know this is true? Watch this. Oh, wait for it. Watch this. Because
wait, I'm on. Okay, I'm like, okay, I see this little thing right here. I'm wondering. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Because that's on my screen here too. I'm not used to seeing that. This is weird. What's going on?
I like to say that we're sellouts.
Oh, okay.
And we're just bringing these things up to light, and we're the cause of it, and we're, promoting white supremacy. Okay, let's go ahead and play this.
Oh, is this what he means mainstream? Is that like it's just the culture of America? And is this idea that kids are what determine what's mainstream? Maybe. I'm not saying he's wrong or right. I'm just curious, like, what is his definition of that word mainstream? How is it different from mine?
Take all these masks off.
Y'all see that, right? Oh, but there's Hispanic dudes in there.
I don't understand this point that he's trying.
Oh,
to
but
make.
there's Hispanic. Oh, but what?
Okay, so maybe I'm smarter than the average Nigerian. That I'm just because when I think about it, I'm like, all right, 13% African American. Out of those 13%, about 9% of those are people like me. America has about 350 million people. That means that there are about 35 million people like me. I don't see 35 million people here. So to show me and say that this is proof that it's the majority when I don't even see a fraction, like a meaningful fraction. Let's say 0.00001%. That would be a more meaningful number than this. 0.00001% of 35 million is about what, 3,500 or something like that. I don't see 3,000 of those people here.
This is the culture.
Oh, and I also should say that I have a lot of black friends, believe it or not. None of them are like this. Literally none of them. I actually went to college. I don't know if he went to college. I went to college and there were black people there and none of them acted this way. And I went to more than one college. You know, I went to college in San Antonio, in Houston, in Stanford, in not Stanford. Well, is Stanford in Stanford? Gosh, what city is? Well, it doesn't matter. Now y'all know. Whatever, fuck it. I went to a school in Cambridge, Massachusetts. There were black people there. There were very few, obviously, but like there were black people at those schools. And what's Oddest, none of them acted this way, including this one that you're looking at. Now, that being said, there is a loud minority. That's what it's really that. It's a loud minority of black people who act this way. And right now it seems to be predominantly younger, like the younger ones, like, you know, my age and younger. Now there are some who are my age and older, but they're not out there like that anymore. You know, they've kind of aged out, maybe matured a little bit. But yeah, this right here, this is actually a pathetic sight. But to say that this is a representation of the majority, because he's like, well, look at this. It's like, well, this is, I don't know. But let's see, maybe he has more. This is a 21-minute video. So maybe in these 21 minutes, I am going to see at least 3,500 black people who are doing this, which represent 0.0001% of the total black population. 2 streams in a day. Yes, sir. 2 streams. Getting into it. What this Nigerian man has to say about black culture, and saying that those of us who are saying that this type of shit is not mainstream are lying. Which, hold on, let's do some things. BLS. You know what? Maybe I can have, well, it's probably not gonna work, but we'll see. We'll do BLS, salary, wages, race, and gender. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm only gonna focus on men. Women's, wait, what? It's a little bit small. Median usual earnings of full-time wage and salary workers by race, Hispanic, ethnicity, and sex. Okay, so we have men. Okay, and out of men, let's see, Black American, Asian, Hispanic. Okay, so this right here doesn't say how many, but we can figure that out too eventually. So let's see, Black or African women are doing 984. Apparently, I was told that black women out earn black men by black women, and I don't know, maybe my relational math is just, you know, because I'm black, I'm dumb. Maybe I don't know how it works, but I thought 1,000 was bigger than 984. It's just what I thought. But you know, I could be wrong. So this is usual weekly earnings. Let's go and look for like total numbers. Employment. BLS employment by race and gender. Okay, labor force characteristics. Okay, let's see. Unemployed. Am I just unable to spell right now? Okay, there we go. Unemployed. Okay, so this is the labor force participation rate by race. Now, this is for everyone. You know, it's not distinguished between male and female, but I think it's important to do male and female because he's showing males, and I'm pretty sure he's going to show females, which it's 2-part. But all right, so we're at what, 62% labor force participation rate. It looks like we are in line with about everyone else. Asians are a little bit higher. However, there are fewer Asians, much fewer, a lot fewer. About 10 times fewer, believe it or not. And then we have, okay, there are not that many American Indians. This number is very low considered, like once you consider that fact. Native Hawaiian, yeah, same thing. This is high, but you know, again, a lot of these, it's not a lot of them per se. And a lot of them come from specific places and they work as nurses. Just saying, just being real. So yeah, this right here isn't saying that, yeah, like it seems that most of us work. Now, I don't know what they consider, like, do they age out people? Because, you know, if they're aging out people, this is quite low. But if they don't age out people, this is about what I would expect. Age out people meaning like people of retirement age. Are they counting them here? Let's see here. Educational attainment, Black and African American. All right. So what is this? How can I read this? So 18% of us have, wait, some college and no college. Okay. Oh, so okay, I see how it's going. So over here is okay. So 34% of us, so that's 1 in 3 have a college degree. Interesting. 1 in 3. Now I do understand that not all college experiences are the same. I do get that, but still, that's not that bad. We aren't the lowest. But I don't. This says Black or African American, so this is muddying the waters, because for whatever reason, everyone else looks at Black people as. And when I say Black people, I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about Nigerians or Ghanaians or Ugandans or Cameroonians. I'm not talking about those people because they're not Black. They are what they are. They're Nigerian, right? And within Nigeria, they will represent their tribe. I'm Igbo, I'm Hausa, and stuff like that, right? So they identify with, not only their nation, but their ethnicity, like their tribe. So it's kind of disrespectful to call them Black and lump them in with us. We have nothing in common, really. Asian is the highest, Hispanic. Okay, occupation, let's see here. 12% work in production, transportation, material moving. So this is like truck driving, that kind of thing, logistics. 5% are in natural resources, 20% are in sales, 21% are in service. So this is the restaurants, the bad service that you're used to getting with Black restaurants. That's what they're out here. They're doing that. And then look at that. 35% of us are in management, professional, and related fields. So again, this isn't adding up. If the majority, the word majority has a specific meaning. Now, for this man, he may not realize that some of us Black people are actually smart and know the definitions of words. Majority is 51% or more. I find it hard to believe that from this data, if 35% of Black American working age adults, which is the majority of Black Americans, we have our own version of the Holocaust happening, with Black women aborting their babies. So there are more adult Blacks than there are child Blacks. So most Blacks are of working age are represented in the workforce. At least 62% of them are. And out of those 62%, 35% are in management and professional. And I find it very unlikely that people who have a college degree and are working in management, professional, and related fields are proponents of that culture that he's talking about. I find that very hard to believe, especially given that I have so many friends who, like, I'm gonna be real, I have a lot of rich Black friends. So maybe he's poor and he's only experienced poor Black people. And yes, I would agree, most poor Black people in the hood do act that way. But those are the ones who are in the hood. Now, sometimes the parents have made a little bit of themselves and they have children, and for whatever reason, their children who grew up in or raised in the suburbs, for whatever reason, they want to act like they're from the hood. They want to act like where I'm from. And I find that interesting, because I've never wanted to be like, oh yeah, like, let me just claim I'm from it. It's like, no, fuck that. So I do see what he's getting at, but to say it's the majority, that's my one hiccup. It's not the majority of us. It is still a loud minority. And a loud minority could be a big minority. I'm not even getting, it could be 30%. That's still a minority. And it still is quite high. So I can at least find some way to agree with my Nigerian non-brother.
And if you are not at some level in parallel with this, I'm not saying you got to be fully given up. That's the thing. We get.
You said I edited a video with Clipchamp. I'm not sure what that is. I gotta get a Mac. Why you need a Mac? Was it slow or something? Or is it just you couldn't use the software you wanted? Try DaVinci Resolve. It's free.
I'm not saying that you got to be shiestied up in order to be accepted. All you got to do is this right here. Let me show y'all. All y'all got to do. All you got
Oh, I should also say that in my Discord, there are some black people in there. And it's kind of interesting how I don't think a lot of them are into that culture. Casual, you're black, right? You're a black man, right? Do you or your family, are y'all into that culture that he's talking that most of us are in? That we're lying about when we're like, yeah, most of us ain't into that shit. Has he been to an anime convention and seen the amount of black male nerds and geeks who are into that shit, who are like, has he? I'm just curious, like, where is he going? He must be going to ratchet places. Of course, Brandon. It's like if you're going to ratchet ass places with a bunch of ghetto ass people, of course. Well, I think I know that because I've seen you before. But my real question is, are you a proponent of that black culture that he's saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, nobody in my family is like that. And I have a very large family. I have a lot of black friends and most of their families aren't like that. So it's like, if it's the majority, you would think that it's a high likelihood that, a lot of people around you are that way, who are your family, right? Because those are folks you can't really choose. Maybe your friends, that's different because, your friends are going to have more things in common with you, but your family may not have anything in common with you. So yeah, I'm not seeing it. And, like I know black professors, black founders and CEOs, I'm like, they never acted that way. And they have families too, and their kids don't seem to act that way either. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Got to do is this right here.
It's always the people looking in, though.
Accepted into the club. Let's pull this up for y'all. Uh-oh. Y'all know what that is right there.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. Yeah, I saw this too. But again, man, I really hate to call people, like, especially directly, because I'm not just talking like arbitrary. I'm not just talking about like faceless. I'm like, this is average IQ thinking. Here's why I say that. Over the past 2 weeks, over the past 2 weeks, in the next week or so, people are graduating. And when I say people, all of the seniors, they're graduating. There are thousands of predominantly black schools in America. And they graduated. And they didn't act like this. There is one video that's going around, making rounds of these hyenas doing what they're doing. One video. Now, if it were the majority, I would expect there to be at least 500 videos, at least, and that still wouldn't be half of the predominantly black schools in the United States. I didn't see that. In fact, I went to a graduation not that long ago. I went this weekend, actually, in fact, and there were a lot of black people who are graduating. None of them did this. I went to a school and we graduated. I had 1,200 people in my class, and I want to say we were about 35-40% black or so. None of us acted that way. So, yeah. But I this is a bad look. I'm not even gonna lie. This is embarrassing. This is a shame. But when you look at the audience and the people in the audience, it's mostly women. And I don't like the idea of, yeah. Anyway, let's watch
already
it
know what
if y'all
that is
haven't
right
seen
there.
it. Oh, thank you, bro. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, bro. Thank you.
Look at that. Graduation day. Graduation day,
Look,
which is
look at
quite
that.
ironic.
Fat woman, yes.
You know,
bro.
I used to rap. Well, technically, I still got music out, etc. But when I started my little rap career, I think I was in the 8th grade. First time I recorded.
Okay, so it's now things are starting to make sense. It seems like he is closer to that culture than a lot of us are. if you are a rapper, you're part of that culture. And that means that a lot of the people around you are also going to be a part of that culture, which may explain why he believes that this is the majority of people. It's just the majority of people he's around. I live in a very black city. Houston is maybe like, we're not as black as Atlanta. Nowhere near that. Or New Orleans. But after that, it's us. There are a lot of black people here. He's right. In some areas, they are like this. But in most areas, they are not. Just something to be aware of. Man, that Grab video is so bad. I started throwing ones at my phone. I didn't do that. I sent it to a bunch of people. I was just like, man, this is pathetic.
A real song in a quote unquote.
Why would I throw money at these disgusting hyenas? Like, fuck them. Never give them money. If you are going to give them money, get some pennies and throw it at them. Nickels.
My homeboys.
Nickels half more weight. Yeah, get some nickels and throw it at they bitch asses.
She had the little mic set up. And we recorded a song called Graduation Day. And we performed it, at our graduation rehearsal. It was our first real performance. So this is bringing back memories right here, because what we have is Graduation Day. Look at that. Look at that. Now this looks like your modern day black church.
You know what? And all of them wonder why they are the least desired. What man will protect that? Because remember, my body, my choice. I get to decide what I do with my body. Why would I protect or want to provide for that? It's disgusting behavior. And you want to know what's crazy is that there are hundreds of other black creators, and I imagine there are thousands, tens of thousands, but obviously I'm not exposed to them, so I can't say that the majority. Like I don't make these logical leaps. That's a fallacy. I'm a little too smart for that one. I'm not about to do that. But I've seen hundreds of black people condemning this, mostly black men, but some black women too, condemning this and saying this is disgusting. It's trash. It like the culture is like this culture is destructive. A lot of people are talking about this on YouTube, including he's not there. Other people look at him as black, so I'll claim him, even though we're different. Like, even he is condemning it. So for him to say it's the majority, when I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure you think, you said this was bad too. So we have 3 random ass black men in agreement across the United States that this is trash behavior. What is the likelihood of that occurring if it's truly the majority of us who subscribe to that culture? But I mean, I know he wouldn't be able to answer that unless he really truly understood statistical thinking, which this is why I'm like, if he would have just said, this is a large minority or a loud minority, 100% agreement with this dude. But nah, calling me a liar because I'm saying that, that's actually not the case. Most of us aren't this way. Can't get behind that.
Honest. Or Southern church, hillbilly church.
That ain't hillbilly church, bro.
Look at that.
This ain't hillbilly church.
I'm gonna make y'all watch it with me. We're watching it through. Cringe all you want.
Wait. This is the most exercise any of them are ever going to get in their life. We already know from here it's a race to 250. It's a race to 250 from here. Every last one of them is going to be 200 plus pounds in the next 10 years. I would be willing to put money. Well, I can't say every last one of them. 80% of them are going to be 200 pounds plus in 10 years. Now, if he said that the majority of black people are overweight, he is right. And the reason for that is because, if you split us in half between genders, 80% of black women are fat fucks, disgusting hippopotamuses. It's a lot less for the black men. But when you put us all together, because, you know, like the majority of us overweight, and it's mostly due to the women being mobile homes.
You've seen it 100 times. You feel some type of way about me even bring it up again. I don't give a damn. We're going to watch it. Look at that. I would put this on loop for 24 hours if I could.
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew it. He's into that culture. He likes this shit. A lot of them like it though. It's crazy. I don't understand it. I was talking to my Nigerian friend about black culture stuff. He's like, oh, I like that. I'm like, what do you like about that shit? Like, why would you even want to be a part of it? But it seems like so many of them just want to be included, because at the end of the day, like, our culture is the predominant culture that's exported out of America. It has a lot of influence. And when I say our culture, I'm saying it in the way of the culture that was created by us, hip hop culture. Doesn't mean that all of us are part of it, because hip hop culture came out of black culture, but it's not black culture. That makes sense. But I wouldn't expect a Nigerian to know much about black people and our culture.
Look. See, look, let me show y'all something. This is mainstream, right? Let me show y'all alternative. You see this individual back here. Nobody talked about that individual back there. That one.
Wait, who?
Let me play this out for you. That one right there. Are you tracking? Who walked away. That's you. You're the one who's sick and tired. You're the one who's got black fatigue as a quote unquote black person, and you had to walk away from this. This is the mainstream culture. This is them. This is what they do. This is how they act. This, look. And this is them celebrating. Imagine if they were pissed off at each other. Hair.
It looks like it's
out.
No, there's a guy too. I'm like, most of it is the girls doing that.
Okay. So why am I bringing
and
this
we
up?
already know that you can't tell a black woman nothing, right? Like, they're strong and independent. They don't need no man. You can't tell them what to do. Like, you just leave them be. That's been my strategy. It's just like, you know what? You're free. You know, your body, your choice, your responsibility. Just stay the fuck away from me.
Because there has to be an acceptance at some point to say that this is actually what is being protected.
You know what? Maybe. Let me try to get some nuance. Maybe he's saying that this is the mainstream culture in young black Americans. This is the only way I can try to come along onto his side. Is maybe he's talking about the younger demographic, you know, those who are 25 and under. Now, I don't know that to be true. I don't know that many young black people. So he could be right. Although I will say that my little brother who just graduated, who is black, doesn't act that way. And none of his friends are into that type of stuff either. So I don't know. No, I can't say yes or no to it, but I can say it's still not the majority of all of us. Maybe it's the majority of a specific set. Maybe, I don't know.
All this other, back in the 1920s and the 1960s and but black people did this. No, I'm talking about right damn now. You're living in today. If I want to talk about the success of a company, it needs to be in relationship to what you did today.
I do agree with him, which is why my response back to him is, we don't care that you were kings and queens in Africa 400 and 500 years ago. Today, you're not that. So I don't want to hear, oh, we were kings and queens, and not like, nah, shut that bullshit down. Like, you got wrecked by the Europeans and you sold my ancestors for some bullshit, and now your countries are all trash. So much so to where now y'all want to come over to my country and you want to become a part of my culture, and now you're upset when we're just like, we're good. It goes both ways.
Today, What have you done for me lately, Janet Jackson? What have you done lately? How are you showing up now and at a consistent rate? Unfortunately, it has been for decades at this point. But right now, today, if you walk onto one of these campuses, you may not see this exact image, but you're going to see something like it. You're going to see something like this. You're going to see the acceptance of this. And if you're not a part of this group, you're lame. You're a nerd.
Well,
you're a square.
I do have to say something though. Like,
you're lame.
Why are schools allowing? When I was in school, we had dress code. We had a dress code. We had to wear either like slacks, like either black or khaki or blue slacks. We could wear certain types of tennis shoes, but there was like, it couldn't just be anything. It needed to be like, yeah, you could wear certain types of shoes, but for the most part, it wasn't too big of a deal. And you had to wear either a polo shirt or a button-up shirt, solid color. And I think you had maybe like 6 or 7 colors that you can wear. You couldn't wear every color. Your shirt had to be tucked in, and you had to wear a belt. That's what I remember from when I was in school. I remember getting like in school suspension for not having a tucked in shirt. So, and by the way, this is at the same school where it was like 30% black. So yeah, like, why is the school allowing them to dress this way? And more importantly, I don't want to just lay this at the feet of the school, because this isn't the school's, technically it's in the school's problem. Like, it is because they're there, but like, really the parents, why are the parents allowing their kids to dress this way? Or do their parents not even know? Because I do know that sometimes, some of these dudes, they will have a complete code switch once they get to school, like and they're nice too. And I this is something that I felt, because when I went to Pearland, I was like, we weren't doing well. I'm a single parent, and like, didn't come from like a great background, especially financially. So when I get to Pearland and I meet, in my opinion, rich black people, to me, they were rich at that time, because I mean, shit, I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment for most of my life. I remember sleeping on the floor and all that type of shit. So with my brother, like, we would make these pallets and shit on the floor. I don't know if he remembers that. So when I went to Pearland and I met black people who grew up and they had their own room. Wait, you have your own room? I sleep in a bed with my brother. What do you mean? You have your own room? So I did notice that sometimes those rich black people would pretend like they would try to act hood and all this type of shit. And I always found it strange. It's hard to articulate, but I always found it strange. I'm just like, wait, like, I just can't, like, why are y'all acting this way? I never got it. I never understood it. I didn't question why, people acted that way when I was going to, school where I was, in all black schools and all that kind of stuff. I never questioned it then. It's just like, it's just normal. But when I went to that school and I'm like, y'all, you have a pool? Like, your house is a mansion, bro. Like, you live in a 3,500 square foot house, 2 stories with a pool. You have your own room. Wait, you have a mom and a dad? Oh, wait, your parents have degrees? They work in corporate? I didn't even know what the hell that was for the long. I'm like, what? Like, so I never understood why some of these kids would be acting the way they were. Just like, anyway, let's keep going. Maybe he's going to offer something better here.
Because you don't want to be a part of this. You don't want to be thugged out. You don't want to be a dope boy. You don't want to be a junkie. You don't want to be a 304. You don't want to be ratchet. You don't want to be turned up. You don't want to be any of those things. As a grown-ass man, people still got a problem with the fact that I don't drink and I don't smoke. Now, that's a decision I made at 19.
Okay, so That's okay. That's a weird thing to bring up. Not the fact that he doesn't drink or smoke. For what it's worth, I also don't drink or smoke. And you want to know what's crazy? No one has ever called me weird or thought it was strange. Or maybe they did, but maybe it's just because I don't give a fuck. I have a very solid sense of self. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you think about me. It's like, who are you? I was raised the right way. If they ain't putting a roof over your head, if they ain't putting food on the table, why are you worried about what they think? So yeah, like, you know, there are a lot of other black men who also don't drink or smoke. I know a lot of them. He may find that there's a lot more people like him than he thinks, but because he's into rap, you know, he may not realize that.
Because I was wilding in my youth. Wild.
He may find me strange. One day he may discover me, and he may find that there are black men who don't even listen to rap. This one. Do I care what another black person has to say about that? Not really. No, they can talk shit. I can talk shit too. Remember, I did come from that place. I can chop it up with the best of them, and I can probably do it better because I have an uncanny verbal ability. And if that's not obvious by now with the hundreds of live streams where I'm talking for hours at a time, then maybe now you know. I know I have the ability to just destroy people, which is why I'm mostly quiet, because I found when I was younger, I could make people feel things whatever I wanted, just with my words. I've realized I don't need to use my fist or my feet or my knees. For what it's worth, I know a lot of black people, they think fighting is in your face and punch. Nah, bro, I'm not one of them. You have to protect yourself from everything from me. You might get a foot, a shin, a knee, a elbow, a fist, or my head. Or you might end up on the ground. Body slam type shit. Like, I'm one of them where it's just like I trained in multiple martial arts, and I grew up with the understanding that no fight is fair. So I don't believe in fair fights, which is part of the reason why my coaches, my trainers, like all of them, it's like the best thing that you can do is to avoid a fight. You train for the event where you can't get out of it. And your goal is to end it as quickly as possible. It's not to try to grandstand. It's not to do any of it. It's like, no, it's for self-protection. That's it. So yeah, a little interesting. But let's see. You know, maybe he has some more.
But I said, nah, these things are destructive. These things are going to take my life. I'm not going to win in life if I continue to perpetuate these behaviors. But yet, this is...
Oh, wait, so he must have... Oh, so he was engaged in those types of behaviors in the past. A Nigerian. Cosplay. Okay, all right, yeah. So maybe that's part of it. I never took part in it. So, yeah.
Our kids, and the reason I brought this one up first is because
this dude's video kind of. Well, you know what? He makes some good points sometimes, and maybe not in this video yet, but this is the thing about being a human. None of us know everything, and we're not always right. But that's part of why stuff like this is great. Is that you can still say stuff, and then, you know, people like me can come up and he can learn that, nah, that's not really accurate, or it's not true. Yeah, so it's like maybe he is, I don't know. He could be dumb, but I don't think so. I think his argument is dumb. I don't want to, because, you know, all I have is from what he's showing me here, and to, you know, to make a judgment and say, no, he is dumb and he's not just acting. He seems, but I don't know if he is. I don't think he is, but he may be based off of these arguments. But yeah.
These are 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old boys mimicking the culture that is perpetuated and promoted.
First of all, that look right there with those ski masks and shit, wasn't that something that Drake was doing? The Canadian, the The Jewish guy from Canada, the one who also cosplays and makes a caricature of where I'm from. First of all, fuck Drake. I hate that motherfucker. Really. I don't like the idea of him coming to my city and to my neighborhoods and trying to like pretend like he's someone like me, and then doing this basically blackface of what we are and just putting that shit out into the world. It's embarrassing. To have him, who is not of our culture, he is literally a vulture, to come here and take the worst aspects of the things that exist here, and then to like package that up and then sell it to the masses as, oh, this is the culture. And then you have these dumbass kids who look at Drake with his bitch ass and they want to be like him. And there's not just Drake, there are probably other ones. I don't know. That's the only rapper I know right now. Jay-Z, but that's kids probably not listening to Jay-Z. That should give you that should tell you something. I don't really listen to rap like that. Like the last rappers I listened to were like Talib Kweli. He didn't rap about stuff like that. I liked J. Cole when he first came out. He didn't rap about stuff like that. I'm into Kendrick Lamar. He doesn't rap about shit like that. You know, so yeah. There are a handful of rappers that I will listen to some of their stuff. Like I liked Will Smith when I was a kid. And I still kind of like Will Smith. He didn't rap about shit like that. Mm-hmm.
If you are a single mother and you are raising a boy, you are a single mother raising a boy, remember that you are raising the man that somebody else is going to end up with.
He's not raising a man. She's not raising a man.
Please.
She's raising. She's not raising a man. Only a man can raise a man. I'm curious if any of y'all disagree with that. Only a man can raise a man. How are you going to raise something that you yourself, like you can't even fathom it? I don't know. Nah. They are raising basically females. Male versions of themselves is what they're raising, which is why so many black men in our country are so feminine. And I don't mean in like, you know, the zesty type, sassy type stuff. When I say feminine, I mean the emotional thinking, the temper tantrums, unable to deal with pressure, that type of stuff. They're not raising men. Oh, you don't like Will Smith? I like Will Smith's music. His first album it won a Grammy, bro. Are you serious? Are you saying that Will Smith's first album wasn't good? I don't think he really started to fall off until maybe Will Smith's 2000. But even that was a good one. The one after I forgot what it's called. But I enjoyed all of his albums for the most part. I like them. Because he tells a story, which is what rap was. For what it's worth, rap is not the culture. It's hip hop. Hip hop is, you know, rappers express hip hop. Anyway, we won't get into it. But rap was meant to tell a story. The word rap means to talk, and it's not just talking. It came from like the poetry jam sessions, like those poetry flow sessions. I call them sessions, but maybe they're not like you go to the poetry flow club or something like that, where they're doing spoken. I say spoken poetry, but it's spoken poetry, but it's performed poetry. It came from that. It didn't get distorted into what it is until the 80s, when, you know, certain music labels starting to recognize that there is a lot of money in this, and, you know, certain groups came to prominence, and I think that there was some other involvement with CIA and some other things to make sure that, you know, as things are. But yeah, I don't know. No. I think that this is this new crop of people who are doing this. Like Drake, he dresses this way for whatever reason. Summertime, Nightmare on Elm Street were good songs. I haven't listened to any. I haven't listened to any rap in a very long time. I don't remember the songs. Although maybe Summertime, I think I do remember that. Maybe.
Remember that. So if you're letting that boy walk around like this, you're raising the very same person that you're complaining about yourself not having a relationship with anymore because he walked out on you because he's got these tendencies. That's what that's about. Now that I've shown
he's
you
right
that,
about that.
let's go to these right here because it's not over.
I can't say that he's wrong. That they are raising the next generation of baby daddies who don't have nothing to do with their children, which further perpetuates the cycle. I was talking to one of my neighbors down there. He's very successful and he mentors. He has some black teens who he mentors. It's not black, which is crazy. Like, and that's another thing that's crazy. Isn't it interesting how Nigerians don't help black people, but there are tons of white people who help us, Jews who help us, even Asians. I've never seen Indians do anything for us. In fact, I've never seen them do anything for us. But like, so many people actually have like been at our side and helped us with shit. Interesting. Never the Nigerians or the Ghanaians or any of the ones from Africa. I'm not gonna name them all, but none of them.
No. I got time today. I have time today. Let's see this here. Let us see this here. Lord have mercy. I done blown it all the way up. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that right there. You guys see that?
Okay, wait. So since he wants to show, for what it's worth, she looks Nigerian. For what it's worth, she looks Nigerian. I thought that was a Nigerian thing to do because there's a Nigerian, Tobe, this dude right here. That's a Nigerian right there who's doing this. He ain't black. This is the only person I've ever seen doing this. Whatever. I don't even know what this is. I don't know why they do it or why he does it. Honestly, I thought that this was a Nigerian thing, and I'm not saying that like in like it's a bad. I just thought that this was something that Nigerians did. I didn't know that this was something that black people did. Maybe black people do that. I don't know. Yeah, she definitely Nigerian. Yeah, okay, yeah. See, what's crazy is that I know like some of the people, especially in VOD, some of the white people, Mexicans, like all the people who aren't black, they're like, how can you tell? And my response is, well, it's we look different. Like, I don't know. It's like, how can y'all tell the difference between a Spanish person and a French person and a British person and a German person? Like, how can y'all tell? I was talking to my Nigerian friend about this, right? Because some person called him like a black in the N-word with a hard R, and he was just like, because he's not black. He's like, I've never been called that word. He speaks in his accent. I've never been called that word. He was just taken aback. I was just bust out laughing. I'm like, oh, it's your favorite word. You love to say. He says it really funny. It's really funny how he says it. That's your favorite word. You don't like it? And he's like, no, I've never been called that. I was like, I'm not black. And I'm like, well, he only hangs around Nigerians, so of course. But I told him, I'm like, to everyone else, you are black. Even though we know you're not black. We know that you're not black. But to white people, we're all the same. Just like to white people and to some black people and some Hispanic people, all Asians are all the same. Even though they look different, they speak different languages, they have different cultures, they come from different geographies, they have different skin complexions, different heights, different everything. It's the same within the Africans and the diaspora, as well as the slaves who exist on this in this country, the descendants of slaves. We can all tell who is black and who is not. So for him to put this up here, he like, and he's Nigerian. He should know what his people, what his females look like. This is a Nigerian girl.
That right there is your future doctor. That's her. Right there.
I don't know how you put in here, but I want to say 738. That girl is Nigerian. Oh man.
So why does she have to do that?
No,
If you're-
I had to do it now. Cause I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, is this how you do time on this goddamn app? How do you put a timestamp in? You know what? I'm gonna figure this out. YouTube comment timestamp in video. How do I do that? Go to this comment section of the video, type a timestamp in 000. Okay, for 2 minutes. Okay, got it. She looks Igbo. I can somewhat tell different tribes apart with it. I'm not Nigerian, for what it's worth. Obviously, if I'm saying like we're not the same, I'm not Nigerian, and like I can still kind of tell like different tribes apart to an extent. Is it gonna work? Let's see. Oh, look at that. It does work.
If you're curious, like why
that.
couldn't she just graduate and just take a normal picture? Oh, but she just having fun. She just having fun. So why does fun always have to be connected to the ratchet culture, to the ghetto culture?
I wonder, you know what? Maybe, you know what? It could be the case that he is saying black and he's including everyone, because I do know that sometimes I don't know, it's like they pick and choose when it's convenient for them, but maybe he's including all of the Africans as a part of that culture, which I think would be unfair because most Africans aren't a part of that culture at all. Like I mean, some of them do participate in that shit, but like most of them don't, bro. Like, really, some of the smartest people I've ever met, and I say smart, I mean just like what you would expect, like what you would expect from like a Chinese student, you know, where it's like they're top of class. It's normally the Nigerians. They're low key like, bruh, they have amazing work ethic and study ethic, and they're incredibly smart, at least the ones that I've met. But again, this is biased, right? Like the ones that I met went to the schools that I went to, so I guess that would make sense. But my friend, when I went to college from undergrad, we were same age and all that kind of stuff. He graduated valedictorian of his class. Nigerian dude. He's now a professor of computer science at one of the UC schools. His brother owns his own marketing agency. They're not into this type of shit. They're incredibly smart. In fact, his brother is probably the only reason why I was able to get through and get my degree from my school, Trinity. I had to take a bunch of calculus classes when I went to Trinity for my degree. You want to know who helped me? The Nigerian, his brother, the Nigerians, and the Vietnamese kids, and some of the Chinese kids, as well as the Ukrainian. One Ukraine. That's who helped me. So I'm just like, no, given that there's these black people, I'm like, man, like these people are incredibly brilliant. And most of the black people who I went to school with were actually Nigerian, but they're just called black because no one there knows the difference between us. So whatever, black. But yeah, some of the smartest people I've ever met were from over in Africa. fact, one of the coolest professors I've ever had the pleasure of taking lectures, or the courses, whatever you call them, going to lectures. I don't know what you call it. It's from Ethiopia. It's an Ethiopian professor at Harvard.
If it's not mainstream, then why? It's like, let's say, let me see what I can pull out. Let's say that wearing suits is the mainstream culture within your own community. And that's the accepted thing to do. You might not wear a suit that day because, you're deviating, but you still wear a tie or something like that, or you still wear a button up, right? It's like you got to have some element. That's what I'm getting to. You have to have some element of it. That's what shows you what the most acceptable is. You can't just be, oh, I graduated as a doctor. That's not good enough anymore. It's not good enough to just graduate as a doctor, graduate as a lawyer. It's not good enough anymore. You have to also have grills in your mouth. Oh, there's more.
Okay, wait. I was about to say, I'm like, I don't know what he's getting at. Honestly, that looks fake. I refuse to believe that this is real. This looks doctored. This can't be real, bro. I don't know. I can't accept this one. This looks like a bad Photoshop job. This looks like one of the girls from the sisterhood, because they don't really like each other like that. Seems like she did this to try to destroy her reputation. That's what this looks like. This looks like reputation destruction. I don't believe that she did this. I hope she didn't do that.
You also have to have a damn grill in your mouth. Iced out bling bling. That's a crazy looking grill, by the way. Kanye done got these people losing their minds with this damn platinum grill, or titanium, or vibranium, Wakanda grill. What kind of is this?
I was just like, I'm done with it.
But she's got to put some
No, I'm not saying that I think he did this. To be clear, I am not saying that I think that he doctored this image. What I'm saying is I think that this image was doctored, and maybe he's falling for it. I refuse to believe this. I refuse to accept this one. The other ones, okay, but this one, man, this
shit on it. She can't just be San Diego or SU or SD. I don't know what the hell that is. You can't just graduate anymore. You got to have some ratchetness to you in order for you to still be palatable and acceptable to the culture. And that's why I say there has to be a breakaway system.
First of all, I have to agree, because he's saying acceptable to the culture. Okay, I'm going to pull up a statistic, which I think is a great indicator that maybe the culture isn't accepting of it. So we'll do marriage rates, African American women, and I don't see, this is like, it's so much conflation. No one. Okay, so let's see here. Marriage rates among African American, I don't know if I believe this, but it's whatever. We'll take it for now. Are significantly lower. I'll read that again. Marriage rates among African American women are significantly lower than those of everyone else. So what that tells me is that maybe the culture isn't as accepting of it as he's saying. If they are the least married people, it looked 33%. Now, remember when I was saying that if he would have said that, like, if he would have said it's a loud minority, and let's say that a loud minority is 30%, well, then this number would make sense, because that 30% is represented here. They're the same ones who aren't getting married. They're also the ones who are having all the kids and all that kind of stuff. That's a separate issue, but they're not the ones that are truly getting married. And like, I'm looking at black women, because the marriage rate of black men is higher than black women. So here we are, Asian women married at a rate of 59%, white 53%. That's over half. Over half is great. This is a third. Oh, look at that. They have the highest divorce rate too. at 12%. I wonder who has the low. Oh, them. Literally half. More than half. This is interesting though. Why are so many white women widowed compared to everyone else at the highest rate? That doesn't make sense. But because I did men, I want to be fair. Or women, I want to be fair. Let's look at men. Okay, slightly more. 36% of black men were married. Now, I don't know if, man, I really wish that we can get that other chart that showed against other people, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Well, for whatever reason, I'm getting this bullshit ass AI thing, but there you are. Black men are more likely than black women to be married. And black women are more likely to be divorced, separated, or widowed. About 21% of married black men and 13% of married black women are married to someone who is not black. So look at that. 1 in 5 black men are married to someone else. I wonder if that 1 in 5 are the same ones who, I wonder if they're subscribers to that ratchet culture. Just curious, you know? I doubt it, but maybe they are. Maybe their wives who aren't black are into that ratchet ass culture, but I doubt it.
You have to let the island crash and burn itself down. You have to let it be. You have to let it be. I have contemplated, perplexed many of nights to say, God, do I...
First of all, perplex is not a verb. If you're going to make a video critiquing other people and how they act and calling them ghetto and ratchet and all these like negative connotation words, at least use the right words. Perplex is not a verb. Just FYI.
Continue to fight.
But you can use it as a verb, but it doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
To change them.
What's going on?
And the answer was simple. No, because you can't change anybody. But what you can do is continue to tell the truth. And for those who are ready for the truth, they will hear it. That's not easy. Because when you see people destroying themselves, an equivalent of when you see a house that is literally burning, it is on fire, and you believe you can pull those people out. You know that you could, first, you could just warn them and they could leave. That's one option. Second, you could drag them out. But the thing you don't understand is they want to be in that burning building. They want to be on fire. They want to be, because that's what they're used to. That's what gives them social currency. That is what is socially acceptable. If you are a woman today in the Western world and you go out fully clothed, I'm not talking about a tight something, but you're covered. I'm talking about fully clothed, regular size clothes on. Feminine dress, but it's a full dress. If that is you, you're going to be looked at crazy. Don't let you have body, right? If you've got a body,
wait,
and you wear something that doesn't reveal your body, it creates confusion and perplexity.
Is he now critiquing all, like, who is he critiquing right now? Is he critiquing black women or just women in general? And when he says people are going to look at you crazy, who are those people who are going to look at them crazy? Is it other women or is it the men too? And if it is the men, is it all men? Is it just black? I think I'm a little lost. I did zone out. I got him text message, so I was reading off to the side. My bad. I may have missed it, but if one of you caught it, please, like, help me understand, because I think I'm lost.
and the people around. Wait, why are you not showing your cheeks? Why are you not showing your tatas to the world? We don't understand. Mother Teresa. That's what they call my girl. They used to call Mother Teresa because she doesn't have to show everything. Just because she got it doesn't mean she's got to show it. She's got some decency even outside of our relationship. It ain't just because of me and the respect she has for me, which of course is tied into it. It's the respect she has for her and the way that she moves through life. The fact that she doesn't need that external validation consistently pouring into her life for her to feel like enough. How many of y'all can be in the midst of other women and not be so damn fixated on hypersexuality? How many of y'all can move through life, young women on college campuses, and not be sleeping around and you're not looked at crazy as hell? You're not looked at like you got 16 heads popping out of your neck. I'll wait.
I'm sure he thinks he cooked, but I wouldn't eat that jollof. Just saying. I would need it. I don't know what the like. What? I don't have anything to say. I'm just like I've never seen that, but I'm not a woman. Maybe he's talking to women. I don't know.
Wait, hold up. No, we're not. I said I got time today. Did I not tell y'all? I said I got time today. Hold up. Let's pull this up one more time because we're here for a full synopsis.
All right. So at the beginning, his premise is the majority of black people are subscribed to this black culture, and he's saying that this is the mainstream culture that most of us subscribe to, the majority. And he said that if any of us said that that's not true, that we are lying. So then I made the argument and the claim that, well, no one in my family acts this way, and I have a large family. I have a lot of black friends, and none of them act that way. I've met a lot of black people, and none of them seem to act that way. I've gone to conferences with many black folks, as well as like a lot of my friends are professionals. So I have a lot of like doctor friends, lawyer friends, engineer friends, just like me, like people who do real estate, people who own a bunch of businesses, companies. None of them act that way. None of them act that way. None of them are into that culture either. And then I asked one of my viewers here, well, what about you and your family? And he says like, no, not like that at all either. So I'm like, well, if it's the majority of us, then it would like statistically, probability wise, like it would be likely that, or I'm sorry, it would be unlikely that two people from different parts of America have a similar experience with what is considered acceptable in our cultures. He said he's not cooking. Yeah.
I know that's gonna be copyrighted.
He you know what? I like to think that even if you disagree with the point that's being said, I think that you can, if you're like, most people aren't this way, but like you can find some points in his argument where it's like you can kind of meet him. You may disagree over some small nuanced detail, maybe, or maybe there just might be something where he's just unfamiliar. Fine. But what he's saying, I understand where it's coming from. And I also think that there are far too many, like it's accommodated too much. It's selling. In fact, I was talking to that guy, the one who I said he mentors a bunch of people, and one of the things that I told him is that it seems that only in the black, I don't even want to call it a community, because it's not even a community really. When you really think about it, I think so many people really, they just don't understand our history. And when I say our history, I mean America's history. For whatever reason, they think that because a black person in Houston, and there's this black person in Chicago, and there's this black person in New York, and all, like that we're the same. But the way that these plantations worked is depending on what plantation or what region of America you were at. I'm using like sub-region. Obviously, they were mostly predominantly in the South, but even if it's in the South, different areas were different. They had slaves that came from different parts of Africa. Like people from certain places even look different. They had different cultures. So for the most part, we're not a monolith, even amongst just black people, like actual black people. We're very regional, which is why, and this is one of the things that I notice about us, is that when we greet a lot of folks, and tell me if I'm wrong, Casual, maybe I'm wrong, not wrong, but maybe it's just been in my experience. One of the first things that black people ask is, where are you from? And there might be a reason for that if you know our history. But if you don't, and you're just someone who just comes in and cosplays our history, and you think that you understand us because you listen to some rap music that was played on the radio, and you watch some videos of some black people doing fake shit because it's a camera, like, and it's edited. Like, if that's your idea of what black people are, then sure, yeah, the majority of us are that, because that's all you see. And the majority of them, and most of them, all of them in that are that way. But if you actually get outside of your Nigerian echo chamber, you may find out that just like in Nigeria, it makes a difference what part of America that person is from, because we're not really a monolith. And even within that, even when it's in the same region, it also depends, like your ancestors. What kind of slave were they? Not all slaves were the same. But I wouldn't expect him to know that. Different slaves were treated differently and had access to different things. And also different things happened to them, which caused them to have children, which looked very different from the traditional African slave, which is how you end up with people who look like me. Where, you know, I get everywhere I go, they think I'm one of them. I go to Egypt, you're one of us. No, I'm not, bro. I'm not Egyptian. I go to Ethiopia. Are you one of us? Nah, bro. I'm not. Nigeria, they can tell instantly that I'm not one of them. Like, it's obvious. It's actually kind of insane. But like on the northeast and eastern Africa, especially north, they're like, are you one of us? I go to the Middle East. Are you sure you're not one of us? Nah, bro. I'm not one of you. Nah. Shit you not. And I don't understand this one. In Asia, my travel partner, somehow she managed to lose me in a crowd. Lose me, a 6'4" black dude. I'm like, how the fuck do you lose me? Like, how can you not find me in this crowd of people? Her response, and I shit you not, sometimes you look Asian. I'm not Asian. I'm like, you do know that, right? She's Asian. Sometimes you look Asian. And that's not the first time. It's happened a lot when people are you mixed? It's like, that I know of. I mean, technically I am. No. Yes. I am mixed. Whoop-de-doo. But it's not mixed because of the reasons. It's not mixed in the way that you may think. I'm mixed in the sense of, slavery happened. And certain slaves who weren't filled slaves, which my ancestors weren't the filled kind, some of them got raped. And they had mulatto children. And that's how you end up with someone like me. My father is black as hell. Black. That's why I'm dark. And I'm saying dark, really, because the rest of my family are freaking bright highlighters.
We're gonna watch this together.
All right. I mean, we've seen it. He's not even adding anything.
The big backetry taking place.
Yeah,
right
the big backetry. The big backetry. The big backetry. Yeah, man, these big backs. Why are they so fat? It's disgusting.
Sometimes it takes you 7 watches. Like each video, they say watch each person.
What he needs to do, there's another video of someone else recording it where they actually can, where you see more stuff, and you'll find that there was a group of people, not just one person, like he said. There were a group of people who were kind of walking away and not engaging in that shit. But all of the women in the audience were doing exactly what this big back was doing. That kind of shit.
Entirety of the video, then switch person on the next play. There's this is a mother right here. This is somebody's mama that created one of these.
No, that ain't nobody's mama. That's a big mama. It's a difference.
This creates
That's
that.
big mama.
Endorsement, celebration. Folks, this is how they want to be. This is how they want to be. They want to be accepted by the culture, so they perpetuate it. They enable it. That's why they defend it. So I didn't think I was really gonna have to bring this one up on y'all. But because we are where we are and we're doing the things that we're doing, I'm going to bring this up on y'all. Look at this. Look at this. Where's this video at?
Is this an edited video? Like, what? You
All
couldn't
right.
edit that shit out?
I'm going to give you the floor today, because this one's just been sitting on my hard drive. I'm going to give you the floor.
I'm not going to hold y'all. I just want to say, if you're white, it's never ever going to be revolutionary, innovative, or necessary for you to criticize somebody black in public. Y'all have a good night.
Let me run that back. You didn't hear what she said.
I'm not going to hold
You
y'all. I
didn't.
just want to say, if you're
couldn't
white,
have.
it's never ever going to be revolutionary, innovative, or necessary for you to criticize somebody black in public.
Okay.
Y'all have a
I'm going to go out on a limb. When she say somebody black, she's probably not talking about the people who are not human to them, which are black men. She's probably just talking about black women, which, it's on brand. You can't tell them nothing. You can't criticize them, but that's the case for all of them. So. But yeah, like this idea that if you're a black or a white person, you can't criticize. Wait, did she say a white man or a white person? What did she say?
innovative. I'm not going to hold
You
y'all. I
didn't.
just want to say, if you're
couldn't
white,
have.
it's never
Okay, she said if you're white. Yeah, like why? Why can't a white person criticize a black person in public? I don't understand why that's not okay. If I can do it and I'm willing to do it and I will do it, like why can't they do it to me? I don't understand. Now, I will add that maybe, for certain types of things, it is better to go into private. But like if that's not possible, it's like, yeah, just do it respectfully in public. It's not that big of a deal. Now, I do understand that if, that happens and it's told to a black woman, she will blow it out of proportion and make it a big deal and make it a thing, cause a scene and all that kind of stuff. And then probably call you racist. So maybe not. Maybe don't want to do that. Maybe that's why she's saying you shouldn't criticize them in public. She's trying to protect you. Maybe she's just warning you. Hey, don't do this because we have little emotional intelligence and we will throw a temper tantrum and embarrass you and everyone else around us.
ever going to be revolutionary, innovative, or necessary for you to criticize somebody black in public.
Okay.
Y'all have a good night.
So why would she say that? Why would she put a message out like that? Is it because she actually means it and, there's actually a problem with you calling out this behavior? I would say no. What I would say, though, is that they shame you, calling us sellouts and things of that nature, or calling you a racist. And they look to essentially cancel you, to block you.
Wait. Well, he's describing our feminine traits. That's how the feminine side expresses their aggression. It's in reputation and damage. It's in shaming. It's in trying to get all of the people to turn away from you. The cancellation. That's cancel culture is feminine. It's from feminism. That's the only reason. That's the only way that would work. So is he talking about black people right now? Because most of what he's shown, and I'm not saying this to say he's wrong about some of the things he's saying. I'm just saying most of the things he's showing right now have been black women. He did start off with showing some black kids, some black men. They weren't men, some black boys out of high school. But from then on, it's only been focused on black women. And my question is why? Why is he focused on black women, except for the Nigerian one, but maybe he's considering them black too. I don't know. That Nigerian girl, like, why is he focused on women right now? Does he not understand that, like, that we live in America and that they are free to do whatever they want to do? Whether you agree with it or not. I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I'm just saying, like, that's the ways our laws are. We live in a like a feminist society where men are attacked for being men, and the state is on the side of the women because they realize that, you know, like, that's the way that they can keep control of things, because we have all these beta boys out here trying to act like Captain Save-A-Ho, and, you know, they're willing to cape for these women so that the people who, I guess, would actually be on top, so that, you know, they don't have to compete really with them. They can get them canceled, stuff like that. But yeah, so far he's mostly been talking about black women, and I don't understand why. Maybe he's going to talk about some black men again, hopefully.
To stop you in some way, because they don't want a mirror held up to their own degeneracy. That's why they do it. They don't want the mirror. They want to do it. They want the behavior. They want Sexy Red. They want Nicki Minaj. They want Meg Thee Stallion. They want that. They want it. They want to be that.
Yeah, he's obviously talking about black women now. Do men listen to those rappers? If I like, this is where, you know, maybe some woman is going to come out and be like, "Oh, you're a misogynist," but I have zero interest in listening to female rappers. And this is like, I don't really listen to rap, but like, if I am going to listen to a rap song, I'm not listening to a female rapper. It's just not relatable. It's like, I don't care about anything they have to say. It's just like, I don't care. Like, okay, you live on easy mode. Like, I didn't have so I don't give a shit. Same with the singers. There are very few female singers I'm listening to either. So I'm just like, am I odd right here? I asked my Nigerian, I have a Nigerian friend who does listen to rap, and I did ask him if he listened to female rappers. He's like, no. I asked my friend, he's a black man, he listened. I asked him, like, do you listen to it? He's like, hell no. He's black. He even acts he acts a stereotypical way. He was like, hell no, I don't listen to that shit. I'm like, oh, okay. It was a little strong, but all right. Yeah, I don't listen to it, so I'm curious. Any of you who are still here, do you all listen to female rappers or singers? There are a few female singers I'll listen to. I'm more likely to listen to a female singer. You know, some like Whitney Houston. I like her. I like Now, but I don't know. I don't think she's black. She's like African descent. I think she's from London or something. I like her. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm really thinking hard. I'm like, I don't really listen to them. I mean, Alicia Keys, she had a few songs I listened to, but I never listened to her albums. But I like her. She plays piano really well. She seems cool.
Want to be scantily clad. They don't want to be modest. They don't want to be classy. They don't want to be sophisticated. They want to take one another's lives. They want to fight at every single.
Whoa. All right, no. He's conflating. No, I don't know. I can't allow that. No.
They don't want to have a conversation. We need to completely and absolutely remove ourselves, as we should have done a long time ago. There was a video that I did.
Wait. I don't like this projection that he's doing. What does he mean by remove ourselves? What the fuck are you saying, bro? Like, what am I removing myself from? Being rich? The fuck? Remove myself from what? I don't understand. Like, why would I remove myself from being upper middle class? What is he saying? Remove ourselves from what? Well, you know what's crazy is that the majority of my friends are not black. I have a lot of them, but the majority of my friends, and I say the majority meaning like 51%, like it's probably like maybe 1 in 3 or so are black, and I'm including Nigerians and all the other Africans in that, including the Egyptians and the Ethiopians. I'm including them in that category. The rest of them are from Asia, all parts of Asia, be it North Asia, like Northeast, like Korea, Japan, Taiwan, East Asia, China, Hong Kong, Philippines and Southeast Asia, Singapore, Vietnam. I have friends from South Asia, India and Pakistan. I have friends in West Asia, Oman, UAE and Qatar, as well as Lebanon and the Levant. I have friends from Israel. I have friends from South America, from Peru, from Colombia, from Ecuador, and Mexico. I even have a friend from Iran, from Persia. And you know what's crazy is that they reach out to me for things, for help on things. So I don't see what he's like. Why would I remove myself from that? I've worked hard to build a reputation of dependability and of competence. Why the fuck would I remove myself from that and go where? It sounds like he's talking like he's not from the hood. That's what it sounds like. For whatever reason, I really don't understand it, because I really don't. But for whatever reason, when people who don't come from a certain place and they've never experienced any of the things that, you know, the people who experience, who they're commenting on and talking down on and talking about, for whatever reason, they very rarely have like any actual ideas of what things are like for other people. And I've always found that weird. I can understand the mindset of a lot of the, you know, folks from the black community. Even though I am not in their position, I'm very far from it. I don't face their problems at all. I don't, like, most of the things that they're talking about, I'm just like, I've never experienced that, like racism. Okay, sure. Like all that stuff, but I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand their problems, because it's like, I've been there before. I was poor. I was homeless. You know, there's a time when I dug out with my roommate, my black roommate actually, he saw a dumpster. He was like, hey, because I didn't have a bed, I was sleeping on the floor. He's like, hey, well, I saw a futon mattress. It looked like it was kind of clean. It's sitting outside at the dumpster. Do you want to go get it so you can have something to sleep on? So I'm one of those. I slept on a fucking mattress from the garbage my last year of college. So it's like, I understand the mindset of, you know, that develops with people who don't have much. And it's like, for whatever reason, he's like, just remove you. It's like, bro, like, I understand why it's so hard for these people to escape where they are. It's not just them trying to say they want to be a part of the culture and be accepted in the culture. A lot of it is to where are they gonna go? But sure, yeah, I guess it's easy for anyone to become a millionaire. That's why he's probably a millionaire, right? It's easy. Anyone can just go out and just make it happen. It's kind of maddening sometimes, because like, as someone who's actually done that, I now understand just how difficult and unrealistic doing something like that is, and how lucky you have to be in order for something like that to actually happen for you. And then to have people who are in an objectively worse position, like I'm probably a little, like, you know, and for him to talk this way about people who are in less fortunate positions than him, like that, and not have any empathy or understanding for like, maybe it's a little harder for them to do certain things. Like maybe they're acting this way because they didn't really have much leadership at home. Oh, the parents. Okay, well, maybe their parents didn't have great jobs and they're making $8.25 an hour. And, you know, let's say they have two parents, they're bringing in under $17 an hour between the both of them. And then after taxes, like there's not a lot of money. So they have to work a second job. So who's going to be at home looking at Tavon? No one. I understand that. My mom had to work because she was single with me and my brother. She took us to work with her. So when I remember growing up, I used to have to do my homework in the car. This is actually one of the reasons why it is very hard to distract me. If I'm working, I can work almost anywhere. It's hard to distract me. I credit it to that. You want to know what's crazy? That skill set that I developed by, you know, working in the car while my mom is driving. I'm also present, and like I have a very, very strong sense of where I am in the city. Now I understand the city. Like I know how to get everywhere. No maps because of that. But because of that experience, when I got to high school, I was able to do my homework on the bus. While all these kids yapping and doing all this shit is loud, they got the windows down, yelling and screaming. I'm doing my math homework on the bus. Why? Well, it's because I developed a skill set when I was a kid, having to do all of my homework in the car while my mom worked because there was no one else to watch us. And for whatever reason, someone like him, maybe he had both his parents, you know, maybe he, you know, didn't want for anything, so he doesn't understand that. But it's hard to overcome those things. If it were easy, maybe everyone would do it. You know? If it were easy, maybe he would be a famous rapper and not some, like, I don't know who the fuck Aquarius Wave is as a rapper. I know who he is as a YouTuber, but as a rapper, I don't know who the hell he is. So maybe things aren't as easy as they are said. And I find it surprising that someone like me is the one saying that. I would expect for someone like him to be saying that to someone like me. Because that's been my experience, is that it seems to me that the people who are in the like upper classes, they really don't understand, and like they're just oblivious to that. And it's like, I'm looking at this guy, I'm just like, wait, you sound naive.
Long ago, it's called Blacks vs. Ninjas. Sorry for all the ninjas, like the true ninjas. I love ninjas, not it's gonna get confusing. The actual ninjas, Japanese stealth warriors. I love them, but not the ninjas, if you catch what I'm throwing. And in that video, I did a reaction to a video from like the 1950s maybe, where black folk were sitting in a room talking about this exact issue. And on one side it was, well, you know, we need to bring them into our community and maybe they will change and maybe they'll da-da-da. Now, on the other side, it's like, wait, you know, they're actually not on our level. We should divest, as they like to say nowadays. We should separate ourselves from these individuals. That was a conversation being had in the 1950s.
That was actually happening. You want to know something crazy? It's that they split. They split. I can tell that this man doesn't know any rich black people. Just straight up. Like, I'm talking about rich blacks. Rich blacks are different, bro. Like, they're different. They don't act this way. He's been around a bunch of the poor, low class black people, and he's into rap shit. It seems like he wants to cosplay a little bit. So I think that's where his experience is coming from. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know. Like, I'm not finishing this video. I gave it a good effort. Casual Economist said that he was done with this dude an hour ago, and I was like, nah. But at this point, he's not really saying anything, so I got to move on. But I do understand, like, to some point, I kind of get where he's coming from on certain issues, but it's just, sorry, I can't. I tried. I gave it a good shot. Okay, let's see here. We could do Pope Leo rejecting LGBTQ ideology. I'm cool. Yeah, we can look at that. Or we can look at Ask an Older Man. I like this dude. He's pretty cool. I've been watching him lately. But now I like the Chinese historian. He's funny as hell. He says some wild ass shit. and he seems to be infatuated with the black male member. Just think about it. He talks a lot about black male bodies to the point where I'm just like, are you good, bro? Like sometimes I'll leave a comment. I'm like, you good? Like we over here running rent free in your mind, bro. You always talk about our shit like that.
All right, what is up, folks? So I'm coming back to the topic of man versus woman.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, so the topic of this video is going to trigger a lot of people, especially if you're a liberal woman and if you're a hardcore feminist, right? So obviously, at this point, every single person on earth has heard of this, right? So why are women always unhappy, right? They're not happy when they're married. They're not happy when they're divorced. They're not happy when they're single. They're not happy when they're in a relationship. So what is it that modern women actually want? How come they're always saying that they're unhappy? Well, what if I told you that a woman being unhappy is actually just a biological fact? Actually, that's what they used to discuss. I don't know if they teach this in Chinese schools anymore, but actually this is part of the Taoism ideology. You guys heard of Taoism? So you have the yin and the yang. So this is actually the dark side. It's very interesting. So by the way, this is how it's actually pronounced. This is pronounced the yin, and this is pronounced the yang. You see these Chinese characters?
You see, your boy pronounced it right, yin yang. But that's only because I know the character.
This right side, this is the moon, and obviously the light side.
Yeah.
So this is Ru.
That's
so
Ru,
the right
that's
side,
day.
So that is actually the sun. So it's very interesting. So you have the moon, which represents the dark side.
Also, Japan is urban. So this right here, this character, that's Japan. So land of rising sun, moon, Ming. It's not yin for moon. It's actually, is it Ming or yeah? Let's see. I think it's yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, that one.
And you have the sun, which represents the light side. So what's quite interesting is that yes, China did actually used to teach this. So you have the light side. This represents all of men. Then you have the dark side, which represents all women. And I know you guys are thinking that.
I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I just thought that this is based off of what someone told me who is also from here. That the white side is order, and that little dot, which is black, is chaos, and that it's the what's the word is ordering chaos. It's there, and that eventually chaos grows, and then the other side there's order within it, but and that grows. So it's like it's this balancing thing, where in both cases within order there is chaos, and within chaos there is order. I didn't know that it was this man woman thing. I didn't know that. That's new to me.
It's a pretty controversial. How dare I, right? Well, actually, it's just a biological fact. The reason why a woman are always unhappy is because women just tend to have 10 times as many negative emotions as men. It could be 20, 30 times. And once again, I'm talking about on average, generally speaking. And I am so sorry to say, this thing is real, right? In China, they call it 忧郁症. So it roughly translates to a clinical depression. I do realize that, yes, I did mention in previous videos, it's very important
so
that
there is a word. I forgot the name of it, man. I just said this earlier. Sometimes I'll know the concept, but I'll forget the word. This is, hold on. I think I can figure out how to find this fast. Big Five psychology traits. It's the one that starts with an N. Psychology traits. Neuroticism. That females are higher in trait neuroticism than men. And it's by a large amount, actually. It's statistically significant. Let's see here. Trait neuroticism. Differences between men and women. And I might have to use ChatGPT, and like y'all can try. I already know it's the case, but like, Y'all would have to just trust it because you may not know it yet. Okay, yeah, we're going to use ChatGPT, which isn't on here yet. Okay, when it comes to trait neuroticism, how much higher do women rank than men? Let's spell that right. .4 to 0.6 standard deviations higher than men. All right, let's figure out what the variance is. What's the variance? I guess technically I could. It can figure that out for me. I'm like, technically I can calculate that myself. It gave me enough information to figure it out. Actually, no, it didn't. That's a lie. Variance is 8.2%. And this is for women. So even within this, the variance is double. This is what I mean, like an average without variance or standard deviation. See, it gave me the standard deviation, which allowed me to figure out, okay, well, what's the spread of that? And how far, and here we see it here, right? It's a much bigger spread in females on the variance side. And given that it's higher, chances are even on the lower end, it's going to be higher than most of the people on the lower end or even the higher end of men. I'm sorry, I'm visualizing it. If you don't visualize these things, that won't make sense. Majority of variance is 90% within each sex, not between them. This means there's substantial overlap between men and women's distributions. Many men score higher than many women despite the average difference. Okay, sex only, yeah, we know that. I was just curious about that one. Okay, let's go back to our video.
Positive, to be happy, to be grateful. Maybe you gotta stay humble a little bit as well. Well, I guess staying humble didn't work out too well for Erling Haaland this season. But all of that aside, right, it's very important to stay positive. But I'm very, very sorry. But, if you're one of those people and you do have a clinical depression, it's very, very difficult to overcome. Why are women just, born into this world with so much negative emotion? Well, I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's just biological fact. Perhaps, we're all living in God's simulation. That's the way God has made a man and woman, right? It's just like, Mandigo has a bigger penis than me. It's just a biological fact.
Bro,
and there's nothing.
He's always talking about black dudes and their members. That's what I meant. If you don't know what member means, that's... Anyway, let's go.
Do about it. It's just like how cheetahs can outrun humans, but we as humans, we can easily outrun turtles or snails, right? So it's just one of those things that just happens in nature. Perhaps there's no perfect explanation for this, but yeah, they actually used to teach this. You can even look it up. So yeah, this is, according to Taoism, right? This concept has been around for thousands of years. So basically, women, they represent the darkness, and the man, they represent the light, and this is how you can bring a balance into this universe. This is how they can achieve equilibrium when you combine man and woman together. This is why, for modern women, when they're listing their dating requirements, right, they will always want their man to have this, right? Riz. And I agree, it's very, very important. What is Riz, right? Riz, that's a short form for charisma. And since that, it is a biological fact that women simply have 5, 10, 20 times as much negative emotions as men. You as the guy, you have to be the positive in your relationship and your marriage. It just has to be that way, right? So let's say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, you're just the happiest person on earth. And the 1 is, obviously if you're a 1, yeah, that's bad. That's clinical depression. Let's say on average, right? A woman is a 3, right? But so you as a guy, in order to compensate, you have to be a 9. So this way, what happens?
Wait, what? You know what? If he would have put 7, that's actually what I was thinking he was going to put. Okay, but 9, that doesn't make sense. Because if females are 3 from the left, then why wouldn't men just need to compensate 3 from the right? Given that it's equal, it's an equal amount of options on either side.
together, right? 3 plus 9, you're
Hey.
at 6. You're above average.
Hey, 3
so you're
plus 9.
closer to this side versus
what?
the negative side.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
He's doing the
honestly, right?
average.
I've talked a lot about my family. I'll give you guys a few more examples of these modern women. So it doesn't matter what you do, right? It doesn't matter if they're married or divorced or single or in a relationship. They're always unhappy. I'll give you guys a couple of great celebrity examples as well for this video. So yeah, let me slide over to this side of the board. You can look up this guy, a very famous Chinese actor. In mainland China, they actually call this guy Zhou Runfa, but that's how you spell his name in Cantonese. And his first wife, right, was this woman. By the way, they were only married for 9 months. So you can look up this woman. She's also an actress and singer. So her name in Mandarin Chinese is called Yu Anan. So they were married for 9 months. By the way, this guy, even though, yes, he's 70 years old now, and if you recognize his face, yes, he's been in so many Chinese movies back in probably the 1980s, right? He was probably the #1 movie star in China. He was consistently
her.
ranked, as a...
I know that girl. I don't know her personally. I'm not saying that, but I recognize her. I don't know her name. I've seen her before.
Sexiest man in China. This guy's in shape. He's 6 feet tall. He's a multi-millionaire. But even for him, right? His ex-wife, his first wife, Yu Anan, they were married for 9 months. By the way, it was his wife who filed for divorce. She's basically saying that the marriage was rushed. She's not ready for marriage, and she's just not happy. She's in a very bad place. So you're married to a guy who's tall, good-looking, in shape, multi-millionaire, and yeah, you're still not happy. You said that your marriage is sabotaging your career, and it was just a bad decision, and you're in a very bad place. Honestly, like, what more do you want, like, from a guy, right? There's another great example, right? Brazilian soccer player, right? Former Brazilian soccer player, World Cup winner in 2002. He was one of Ronaldo's teammates, right? Kaká's ex-wife last year, she filed for divorce, saying that, oh, he's just too perfect for me. This good-looking Brazilian soccer star, right? Multi-millionaire, in shape, tall, and it's just, it's too much for me. Even though I found, the perfect top 0.1% guy, but he's just way too perfect. So I'm just not happy. I'm in a bad place, so I have to file for divorce. Or I guess, the more obvious way to look at this is that, the reason why, even these top tier, like, this is not even top 1%. This is probably top 0.001% of men, right? They still getting divorces initiated against them. It's because, money is a factor. This is the reason why the vast majority of divorces are filed by the women. It's because, if these women actually got nothing from the divorce settlement, they wouldn't be getting...
I think it's 4 and 5 divorces are filed for by women. We really need to change family court laws, and we also need to change laws around alimony. Now that women are no longer, like, they can make their own money, there's no reason why a man should have his property taken or anything. Like, none of that. I think that needs to be rethought. We need a new legal framework around that, because it's causing all kinds of issues. It's causing people who are incredibly smart to say, you know what? I will not do that, because that's the only way to ensure that I don't have my shit or my life ruined. Because as I have found out, and I will talk about these things in the future, but I found out was with my ex, it's like I was doing everything that, at least I thought I was doing everything. I don't know. But yeah, nah, she was just never happy. Ever. Which is, yeah. And at one point in my life, I did think that it was my responsibility to make her happy, and that I was responsible for her happiness. But like, now I look back, I'm like, and this is after, maturing, after doing ayahuasca, after talking to a bunch of people and a bunch of stuff, a bunch of work. But I realized that it was never my place to make her happy. And in fact, that's one of the things that I now look at as, and this was shared to me when I was in Peru, when they say that if you are ever in a position where you feel like you can make someone else happy, that's another way of saying that you are in a position where you have control over someone else. Yeah, so Just like, no, that's not your responsibility for anyone else's happiness. It's your responsibility to focus on your happiness. And, you know, everyone else is free. They're an independent being, an entity just like you, and true love is letting them do what they do. Just be there.
The worst. It's because every time these women who are doing something like this, they can get, 10 million, 20 million, 50, 200 million dollars from the settlements every single time.
Oh, kind of like
so
Cassie.
I mean, the system is 100% rigged against the man, and that's just the reality. And once again, I'm gonna bring my family back into this. I'm sorry to say, but some of the women in my family, they don't deserve any success. They don't deserve any happiness. They don't deserve to have a family. Because many female members of my family, they were married to top 1% Chinese guys, but they ended up completely destroying everything because they just want to act crazy all the time. So obviously, I did mention, if you have seen my previous videos, I did reveal my grandmother. Yes, she chased after my grandfather. Yes, she was indeed a gold digger. Well, I'm sorry to say, but that's just a fact. She originally had a arranged marriage to a normal guy, but she refused, and she chased after my maternal grandfather. At the time, he was stationed at the China and the North Korea border, and he was
So I can confidently say that that wasn't the case for my grandmother. I'm glad to say that. My grandfather was not rich. However, he was incredibly tall. He was incredibly tall. Like very tall. I think he was like 6'7" or something like that. Even when I was fully grown, he made me feel small. Not like it was demeanor, attitude, but just like he's just tall. Like man, you make me look short. I'm 6'4" and I look like I'm 5'10" next to him.
Instructor in the Cannon Division. He was making bank. If you're wondering what happened to their wealth as the war between North and South Korea cooled down on the 38th parallel, and after a while China just withdrew all of their troops from the North Korean border, but obviously that left my grandfather without a job, even though he used to be the richest guy in the area, but he had a lot of money in savings, and obviously he thought the best decision was to invest in a small family business. But unfortunately, even though my grandmother, she was married to the richest guy in the county of 450,000 people, they were just constantly fighting, constantly bitching, constantly arguing. Imagine, if you're trying to, let's say, run a small business, if you're trying to run a family restaurant, right? If the husband is the head chef, if the wife is the manager, right? If they're constantly fighting, if they're constantly bickering, if they're constantly arguing, do you think anybody wants to see that, right? Every action you take in this world is going to have consequences. Nothing in this world is inconsequential. And unfortunately, when your customers see that, right, they don't want to be around that kind of negative energy, right? And once they see that, you guys are constantly fighting, your customers, they simply won't be coming back. And they will be telling everybody they know in their inner circle to stay away from your business as well, because nobody needs that kind of a negative energy in their lives. That's how my grandparents, they lost all of their money, right? There's a great saying in China.
He did say something, but I think it's important. Like, I'm not saying that anything that he's saying is wrong, but I'm going to also accept what the person who told me about this symbol said. Is that within each one, and I said it earlier, but within chaos, there's order. Chaos is black. There's that white dot. And within order, there is chaos. So by that token, well, I guess you need a little bit of chaos. Like, you need a little bit of chaos in each one because they are technically the same thing. Order comes from chaos. Or I should say, order gives structure to chaos. You can't have order without chaos. Like, creation comes from chaos, and you need the creation part of it. Right? So you need chaos for creation. That's how this was explained to me. I didn't learn the women and men thing. I'm not saying that honestly it makes sense, but although, I don't like this character right here. There's no female radical here, and there's no male radical here. You know what? Maybe let's look up. Now I'm curious. Why did it open up two? Wait, why is it doing this? This is weird. I wonder if I need to go set up some setting. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Female. So I learned this right here, the dark principle. But yeah, this is female. Why doesn't it have the female radical in it? Yeah, so I learned the dark light thing, the order of chaos. I didn't learn the female. In fact, this is new to me. I didn't know that you can have female without the female radical in front of it. Now, obviously, I'm not fluent in the language, so obviously, I'm not gonna know everything. But let me find where's the, here we are. So we can do newer. And that would be third tone. Why is that? Maybe I should do the convert. Yeah, here we are. So this is the only form of female that I know, although I guess okay, I see what it is. So Yu is woman. Yin is female. Got it. Got it. And I guess this is why I guess Yue is feminine in some way, because I know someone, I'm not going to say the name, but I know someone with this character. It's the first part of their name, not the whole part, but the Yue. Not the Yue, but the Ming. This one right here. The second tone. This one right here. Yang. So it's inside of here as well. And notice that Ming is just Ru and Yue together. The sun and the moon together are bright. Anyway, let's keep on.
万事兴. So it roughly translates to, if there's peace in the family, then 10,000 things will be glorious. Remember that. I think that's a great quote. Once again, right? When there's peace in the family, then 10,000 things will be glorious. It's really, really that simple. So yeah, it's the same thing for my mom. My mom's first marriage anyways, that was her longest marriage. It lasted for 8 years. Because way back in the day, marriages were arranged. And because obviously my mom's parents were extremely wealthy at the time, that is. And they had to find a guy who was super wealthy as well. So she was married to the top 1% Chinese guy. Up until when my mom was 28, she never had to work, and she was basically married to this rich Chinese guy. She was his trophy wife, but unfortunately, during the 8 years of their marriage, she has to constantly fight her husband every single day, and eventually that led to the downfall of their marriage. I mean, I don't know what to say anymore. And after I moved to Canada, I got to meet my stepmom's younger cousin. So her family is very complicated, all divorced basically. So she has, I believe, one sister. It could be a half sister because all the divorces. And she has 5 other female cousins. It's very interesting. So for her generation, there are no males. So all 7 of them are Chinese women. Yeah, all of them divorced multiple times. Yeah, that's my family.
So what I'm hearing is you might want to stay away from them. They seem to have a strong habit of divorcing.
my bloodline. So I had a chance to meet 4 out of the 7 women. Every single one of them batshit crazy. That's why they're all divorced. You're divorced for a reason, right? So this cousin right here, she's from the Chinese city of.
I heard from a woman said this, that women, if they go too long without having a male in their life, they start to go crazy. That's what a female told me. if is that true? I don't know. But I figured I'd just throw that out there, seeing as he just called these women batshit crazy. And he said that they were always that way. And it just made me think, I'm like, I don't know if they were always that way. Maybe it's just that after their divorce, they, you know, obviously they're older and they all think that they can secure someone because I don't know why they project. You know what it is? It's that they're not really empathetic. They really can't place themselves in someone else's shoes. They really can't think outside of themselves. It really is a lot of projection, right? Where, you know, for a man, we really don't care what a girl does per se. Like, I've never cared about what kind of career a girl has. I'm like, I can give zero shits. I don't care. I really don't care. It's just like, I don't care. I don't even care about what career most men have. So why would I care about the career that a female? Like, I just don't care. I don't care how much money a girl has. I don't care at all. I don't care if a female has a college degree. I don't care. I also don't care if a man has a college degree. It doesn't matter to me. But just to say, since we're talking about women, I don't care if they have a degree. You know, there are a lot of things that they will signal, and, you know, it's the things that they look to men for. They care about that. And for whatever reason, they can't think outside of themselves and understand that just because that's what they want doesn't mean that that's what men want. I don't care about most of the things that they lead with: their education, their career, their money, their achievements and attainments. I don't care. And it's not a hateful kind of not caring. It's more of the, I don't like, it's the I don't think about it. It's the I don't care. It's the same type of I don't care that most of you have when you're driving somewhere and you pass a homeless person and you don't have a second thought. It's that level of not caring, where it's just like, it's okay. It's just what it is. So it's kind of interesting how, like, for whatever reason, even though we constantly say they'll only look at themselves and say, and talk themselves up, and without talking to the people who are actually the customer, I don't care about a lot of the things that they're. Anyway, let's keep going. This is a tangent.
A city of 6 million people. Yes, she was also married to a multi-millionaire. I'm telling you, man, like, the dating situation for Chinese men is impossible, right? Any Chinese woman, even the ones and twos, can get above average Chinese guys, right? These Chinese women, they live life on the easy mode, but they want to complain and fight all the time. I mean, she was doing pretty well herself. She went to university in Shanghai. She went to a Shanghai Jiao Tong University, one of the best universities in China. You know, if not, you know, the top 3, certainly the top 10.
I wanted to go to school in Shanghai.
Younger, she was very, very.
I wanted to go to
so a lot of guys were chasing after
I'll
her.
show you.
So
this is something that I was considering because my girlfriend at the time, we were dealing with immigration issues because she's not from here. She's just not from here. And she's from Asia. But her family, like, they had a house in Shanghai. Even she's not from China. But they had some houses. They had property in Shanghai. So I was just like, all right, well, you know, I'll look for school there, and like maybe that could be an exit, you know, strategy if, you know, if push comes to shove. And also looked in, this is going to be a giveaway, but also looked in Singapore for places, and I found a few places, and I was ready to go there and hit the ground running. So this is the school that I was contemplating going to when I was contemplating moving abroad to either Singapore or Shanghai. Due to the fact that, you know, I'm just like, all right, we don't have to deal with this shit here. We can just leave. It's fine. Also, I was also like, well, shit, you moved here to America for college. It's like, I can't let you outcompete me. I can't let you be the only one to get an international education. So anyway, I was considering going to this school for my MPA. And yeah, ended up not going, but look at how much it costs, bro. Oh my gosh. Let's see, finance, admissions, tuition, and fees. When I saw the price, I was like, hell yeah, because I was, you know, paying out the ass when I was at Trinity. Tuition fees. Do they not show it anymore? They're not showing it anymore. They used to show the price. Oh, here we are. Here it goes. Right here, 598,000 RMB, renminbi. So do I have XE? No, I don't. Okay, let's do yuan, USD. Yeah, there you go. 82 grand. Now, I know that seems like a lot. This is everything. Everything. It's 82 grand. Except for the airfare, obviously, except for the airfare. Now, considering that the other school that I was contemplating, like that I was thinking about, let's see what HBS costs. Where's admissions, financial aid, tuition? Wait, what? Oh, okay. I guess I was in the right place. Do they not show the price either anymore? It's probably so high they're afraid to show it. I'm not seeing the price here. It used to be on here. For what it's worth, at the time when I was looking to go here, it was $80,000 a year, so it would have cost me $160,000 to get my MBA from HBS. But now they don't even show the cost. Oh wait, maybe it's here. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, they have different from Mary, but yeah, here you are. $126,000 a year now. I'm gonna just let that marinate for a little bit. And I guess if you want to do the master's and the MBA, and honestly, that's probably what I would have did, because the MBA was just like, but I also wanted to focus more on the engineering stuff. $142,000. It was $80,000 at the time per year, and the MBA is a 2-year program, so it's $160,000. Now it's $250,000. That is insane. That's really, man, that's insane. Or I could have went to CEIBS and got my MBA from Shanghai for 80 grand. Now it wouldn't be that useful here in America, but obviously if I'm thinking about moving to Asia, to Singapore, like that degree carried weight there. So I was just like, I can do something, even though technically I was just doing it because I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna go there, I need to brush up on my Chinese skills and get up there. I was like, college would be the best way for me. So I decided to do that.
Ended up marrying some big shots, some CEO, some multimillionaire. And this is how crazy things are. So, I mean, she didn't even have to cook or clean because this guy had a lot of money, so he could actually hire personal chefs to cook for her. And her parents are just extremely neat freaks. So when she was married, she never ever had to clean at all. And her parents would come into their house every single day in order to do all the cleaning. So all she had to do was sit there and look pretty. But she had to argue with her multi-millionaire husband all the time, constantly bickering, fighting every single
Probably
day.
Because she didn't cook or clean.
Eventually, it got to the point it was so bad, and she filed for divorce. And guess what happened? I believe she got something like $2 million at least. Actually, I think it could be more. I don't know how much she got exactly, but I do know that right after she moved to Canada, she bought a brand new 2-story house. Yes, I even lived in the house for about a month. I think she bought it for something like $330,000.
Oh, that's not bad. That's really good.
That's how bad inflation has gotten. That house is
that
probably
house
worth like over $1 million now.
Yeah.
She also bought a brand new SUV for about 70 grand. Then she bought all these brand new fancy furnitures for like another 50 or 60,000. And guess where she got that money? From her divorce. This is why the system is 100% rigged to destroy man. So my sister right now, she owns a restaurant.
I watched a video earlier today where, gosh, is it Young? Yeah, I think it was Young, talking about something like this where we're manipulated essentially. Watch my first stream later, because I've already forgotten.
China, and she also has one of those gambling houses. So by the way, China is relaxing their laws around even though gambling is actually illegal in China, but they used to be very, very strict about it. But
Gambling
now
Macau.
in many Chinese cities, you can just walk down the street and you can look to the side through the window, you see a bunch of people gambling, playing mahjong, playing cards. So China have a really, really relaxed their laws and regulations around gambling. So my sister, she also owns one of those gambling houses, and one of her regulars, this guy is probably 70, maybe 72 years old. So this guy, he used to work at a tobacco factory. He was some kind of big shot. I believe his former salary was something like this a month, 20,000 yuan a month. So by the way, this is in the city of Jilin. This is in my hometown. So 20,000 yuan a month. So in the city of Jilin,
depending on what year.
If that's not top 1%, that's definitely a top 2 or top 3%. Obviously, the reason why I'm mentioning him is because he's divorced and he has almost no teeth now. He's in the early stages of dementia, and even now he's collecting pension. He's no longer working. I believe his pension is still something like this, 12,000 yuan a month.
Shit.
And so this guy,
God
he has
dang.
a lot of money.
Most people
he's been
in
divorced
China
for a
don't even
few
make
years.
10,000 yuan a month. Like that. So what I've heard is 10,000 yuan a month is like, it's close to like six. It's not six figures, but it's like the six figures that a lot of these dingbats chirp about here. It's like that. Like, oh, you need to make at least 10,000 yuan a month, and it's not. I don't think that's that much money. The exchange rate is like 1 to 7 or something like that. So you just divide that by 7, and that should give you about what it is.
A lot of people are asking him, why don't you find another girlfriend? Why don't you find a partner that can take care of you? And then this guy said something that I think will resonate with a lot of men, right? He said that, when he was married to his ex-wife, right? So his ex-wife has never, ever worked a day in her entire life. So, and they have a son together. The family of 3, right? They relied solely on his income, which is okay. I mean, this guy used to be a big shot at a tobacco factory. He was the top 1 or 2% of income earners in the city, right? So he said that, the house is his, the car is his, right? That he's paying for his son's tuition. He's paying all the bills. He's paying all the expenses. And all his ex-wife had to do was just, sit there and look pretty. And that's it. But even for him, being a top 1, top 2% guy, right? His wife had to bitch and argue and fight with him every single day. And he said that his marriage was just full of chaos and it was a complete disaster. And basically after his divorce was finally finalized, and he got to the point where he just absolutely hated women. And this old man, he said that he would rather lose 100% of all of his savings and all of his pensions just playing mahjong, just gambling every single day, rather than spending another penny on another woman. He just 100% had enough. So I mean, at this point, I think you guys get the idea, right? I'm not trying to be a misogynist, right? I'm not trying to start, some hateful movement. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that, what more do women want? Just even this guy, right? Even Kaka, right? So World Cup winner, right? Multi-millionaire, tall, good-looking, in shape. Even guys like Zhou Renfa, right? The top 0.001% of men in China, right? Actor, singer, multi-millionaire, tall, in shape, good-looking. Even these type of men, they're not good for their women. And women are always unhappy. My grandmother married to the richest guy in the county of 450,000 people, not happy. My mom married to the top 1% guy, not happy, right?
My grandmother was married to my grandpa until he died. Over 50 years. I do understand that is not the norm, but yeah, this is just another example of the things that go on around you can really shape your mindset of what, like, it can really warp your idea of what reality is. Now, I am not dismissing the idea that most marriages end in divorce. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I had one good example of a successful marriage, and yeah, there were some mistakes along the way. Like I have an aunt that isn't my grandmother's child, but my grandmother didn't leave my grandfather, and he never left after. Like they're together, so she stayed with him until the end. And after he went, she was just like, I don't need to be here anymore. So she was here for a few more years after, but not that much longer.
The old guy that works at the tobacco factory, he spent 100% of his paycheck on his wife and his son, but his wife was not happy. And that's why it's so important, I think, to bring back this point. And I think at some point we all have to realize, it's just a biological reality. Perhaps, it's all of God's plan. It's just something that just happens in nature. Women just tend to have, way more negative emotions versus men. And I think it's extremely important for all of us. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman to acknowledge this point. And that's why it's so important for you as a man to really, really work on your risk. And so, if the woman is going to be here, you need to be here. You need to be the positive in your relationship, in your marriage. So
it won't work. I can say that for sure, because that's me. I used to be a very positive, optimistic, happy-go-lucky type of dude. I'm not really like that anymore, but I used to be that. I'm also a very motivational type of dude. I don't really just accept giving up. I'm very, let's do it. You do it. I'm one of those types. And yes, I have been described as charismatic by a lot of people, even though, I guess it doesn't really go away, but I don't think I'm definitely not the same that I was 10 years ago. I will say that.
That's how you can make your relationship or marriage work. And I understand some of you guys will not agree with me, and that is totally fine. I will tell you guys this. It doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. But if you as a guy, right, if you're just extremely negative, if you're suffering from, clinical depression, if you're just a downer and you have absolute zero risk, and then my best advice to you is that you should probably get a capybara or something and die alone, because it's going to be terrible for you. Even if you can find a girlfriend, even if you can get married, there's a 90% chance that your relationship or marriage is going to be a complete disaster, because you'll end up with two negatives. In order for any relationship or marriage to work, you need balance, right? It needs to be.
All right, so this is Chinese Historian. He's a relatively new YouTuber. He popped off earlier this year. I found one of his videos funny, so I was like, yeah. And I like to support creators because I understand that doing this type of stuff takes effort. And, a lot of people it's not easy for them to put themselves out there. So, the world that you live in is the world that you create. You want a better world, be a better person. It's that simple. If you're the type of person that thinks a better world is other people have to be better, then that tells me that. But yeah, that was Chinese Historian. Check his stuff out. He only mentioned one black male member in this video, but some of his other videos, he's doing a lot of talking about my piece. And yeah. Yeah. Man. You know what? I think I'm gonna watch this later. It's almost 15 minutes. And I have been streaming for 2.5 hours now. In addition to the 4 hours I did earlier today, that's 6.5 hours. I think that's a decent amount of time to stream in a day. So I'm going to go ahead and I can switch gears. I'm happy to sit back for a little bit, kind of shoot the shit with y'all. If y'all have some thoughts that you want to say in the chat, an original thoughts. Sometimes those are fun to get, So yeah, I'll stick around for a minute or so or two. See if somebody wants to say something. If not, I'm peacing out. I'm going to go read my book. All right. There's nothing. It's 1 a.m. for me. I think that means it's 2 a.m. for you. So yes, I'm going to go and read my book. Actually, no, I can't read my book. I got to write. Shit, I got to write. And since I've been streaming, man, so I'm probably going to be up until like 2 or 3 in the morning writing. I gotta get my, like, I have a draft kind of, but I need a actual draft that I can then start working on editing over the weekend so I can get this thing published before the end of the month. So I have basically a week to get that done. So I gotta dump some time to get that out. Yeah. All right, anyway, if you enjoyed tonight's stream, you know, a thumbs up would be helpful. If you want to see more of these types of streams, like, you know, that's a good way to indicate that you want to see more of it. Also, you can leave a comment down below, not in the live chat, but in like the VOD chat. You know, if you put some questions or some thoughts, you know, maybe I'll incorporate it into the next one. If you want to follow me, you could also follow me on Twitch. I have a Twitch account for those of you who are on YouTube. You can go follow me there too. It's the same stream. There's nothing different. So yeah, I'm out. Y'all have a good night, and I will see you all later today. Peace.